My ministry is making bold, ambitious, beneficial, strategic, and impactful actions to deliver prosperity to our people.
Culture is one of the vehicles being used to deliver those bold, ambitious, beneficial, strategic, and impactful actions for Jamaica's prosperity. Today, we revisit what's on the agenda for 2017 and years following. And the celebration of Heritage Week continues with one of our symbols of nationhood and one of the men who made it possible. I am Adrian Atkinson. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine.
Did you know that in a recent survey done by the OCA in schools across Jamaica, 43% of the students received inappropriate messages from strangers? The OCA wants you to be smart online. Never speak to persons you don't know. Parents, encourage your children to be social but be smart.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Children's Advocate with support from UNICEF.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, October 10. National Security Minister Robert Montego is lauding the security forces for their work to secure the island following Monday's gun and ammunition find at the wharf.
The find of 4 automatic weapons and 2 assault rifles and over 150 rounds of ammunition on the wharf is indeed commendable. And it is the dividends that this government is reaping from the investment into the intelligence network.
The seizure follows a snap operation organized by the contraband enforcement team at a warehouse on the wharf. The guns and ammunition were found among a shipment of food items from the United States. Minister Montego was addressing Tuesday's opening of the inaugural Jamaica GIS User Conference at the Jamaica Pegasus. He said the police force had been increasing its utilization of geographic information systems in its operations. Among other things, a 22-member team from the Jamaica Constabulary and Defense Forces have written and introduced 2 applications, the Zoso Reporting App and the JCF Docs.
The Zoso Reporting App helps the officers in the special zones to make their reports, and these reports are geotagged based on a GIS map. And the other app that we have put into force is the JCF Docs, which is an app that treats with all the documents that a police officer will need in the field. So the Book of Rules, the laws of Jamaica, the use of force guidelines, the INDICOM guidelines, all of it is on the officer's smartphone.
$160 million in outstanding traffic ticket fines has so far been collected by the government under its traffic ticket amnesty. The 3-month amnesty started on August 2 and will end on October 31. It covers tickets issued between September 1, 2010 and July 31, 2017 and allow persons to make payment without penalties or additional fees.
I want to use this opportunity to urge all members of the public who believe they may have an outstanding ticket to make that call before the new Road Traffic Act comes in with harsher penalties.
Traffic tickets may be paid online at jamaicatax.gov.jm or at any tax office island-wide. Persons may also call the Traffic Ticket Amnesty hotline numbers 948-0406 or 948-0411 for more information. Residents of St. Anne's Bay and surrounding communities now have access to improved healthcare following the opening of a new operating theatre at the hospital. The operating theatre was renovated by the National Health Fund at a cost of $170 million. In addition, American Friends of Jamaica donated $17 million towards the renovation of the hospital's male surgical ward. And partners Caenwood Group and Guardian Group Foundation donated a $9.5 million ambulance.
The role of philanthropy in our economy cannot be underestimated. There's no question that our fiscal situation is such that what we would like to do as a government for our people, we are not able to do it. But we can find a way if we partner.
20 schools have now implemented the human papillomavirus HPV vaccine program to their grade 7 students. On Friday, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton visited the Ocho High School to carry out an on-the-ground examination of the process. 142 students were given the vaccine in that exercise, which the minister said went smoothly.
The take-up rate is between 70 and 80%. For those who have opted out, in some instances, it may be a lack of clarification around the vaccine. And so another phase will involve following up with those persons to ensure that they fully understand and that they have taken a decision based on information. So I expect that those numbers will go up.
Ocho High School's acting principal, Leo da Costa, said parents were being supportive of the program.
We have not heard or seen any indication which would even suggest that the parents are not wanting for this to happen.
And finally, the 2017 Youth Climate Change Conference convened at the Jamaica Conference Center today. During the two-day conference, approximately 600 youth from 8 Caribbean countries and Japan will seek to identify youth-led actions and solutions to the challenges associated with climate change. Speaking at a prior function, Director of Communications and Marketing at the National Youth Service, Julius Smiley Green, said the objective of the conference was to highlight the importance of youth involvement in and understanding of global climate change issues and their impact on the region.
Young people are quite adept at spreading new habits and technology at their disposal, are well placed to contribute to the fight against climate change.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica comes alive for Jamaica 55. The Jamaica Information Service is inviting primary, secondary, and tertiary students to catch the vibes and join in the celebration by participating in this year's staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Primary and prep school children, ages 9 to 12, enter the essay competition and tell us how you would want to see Jamaica in 55 years. High schoolers enter the poster competition. Show us your artistic interpretations of Jamaica throughout her 55 years in a poster titled Jamaica 55. Posters may be designed digitally or illustrated. Zoom, click, snap. Yes, tertiary students, the photo competition is back. Capture an image that best represents Jamaica 55. For more information on the competition rules and how to submit entries, visit the JIS website at www.jis.gov.jm. You may also send an email to heritageessay@jis.gov.jm, heritageposter@jis.gov.jm, or heritagephoto@jis.gov.jm, or call us at 926-3590-4. The deadline for all entries is October 31, 2017. So ready, set, go for prizes galore. JIS Heritage Competition 2017, celebrating Jamaica 55.
Mahatma Gandhi said, "A nation's culture resides in the hearts and in the soul of its people." Cabinet Minister Olivia Grange says it is her mission to keep that culture alive, make it more vibrant and appreciated, and ensure its people derive wealth from its creative use.
My ministry is making bold, ambitious, beneficial, strategic, and impactful actions to deliver prosperity to our people. Do we value what our people create? Do we see value in the way of life and identity of our people? The draft of the revised National Culture Policy is now ready. The culture policy ensures an increase in the number of growing, small and medium-sized businesses and the legitimization of all cultural and creative business activities. My ministry is also proposing amendment to the Legal Deposit Act that mandates publishers of literary, audiovisual, sound, or film recordings to deposit copies of works with the National Library of Jamaica, the country's national depository. At the end of March this year, we submitted a nomination dossier to inscribe reggae to UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage for humanity. This international protection instrument will ensure that the origins of reggae and its derivatives are appropriately documented and safeguarded for present and future generations. Port Royal is the only site of its kind in the Western Hemisphere, and my ministry intends to have this site inscribed as the Caribbean's only underwater cultural heritage site on the World Heritage List. The Heritage Trust has also been mandated to undertake an urgent mapping of sites that are to be considered for protection under the Jamaica National Heritage Trust Act. And we are pleased to announce that among the list of sites being given priority attention at this time is the Blue Lagoon in Portland. For the first time, the Ward Theatre has received an allocation from central government to assist with the restoration of the ward. One of the issues that militate against the desired level of peace, harmony, and happiness in our country has to do with how we treat each other, particularly vulnerable women and men. The new National Strategic Action Plan provides for an integrated, multi-sectoral approach to addressing the key issues and challenges of gender-based violence. We are proposing in that plan the establishment of a minimum of 3 regional emergency centers within the next 2 to 3 years for women fleeing violence and unsafe living conditions. The Bureau of Gender Affairs has collaborated with the UNFPA in the development of an online platform to raise awareness on the issue of gender-based violence. Our key feature of the platform is the community section where persons can chat with others who have had similar experience in a safe, secure, anonymous space. The sexual harassment bill has already gone to the Chief Parliamentary Council and some amendments made. It is now to be sent to the Legislation Committee. It is a serious crime and we are moving to deal with it. Mr. Speaker, the urgency to extend the support to the Women's Center of Jamaica is critical and necessary. We will be taking steps this year to improve the academic component of the program so that it will be able to qualify as a complete educational institution. We want to ensure that we hit at the heart of the development of the sports sector and attend to the wellness of our practitioners of sport. The Sport Development and Monitoring Division in the ministry is conducting research on existing practices, mainly non-medical, in the area of safeguarding and protecting of children in sport. The government has developed a sustainable plan for the Athletes Insurance Scheme. A program of assistance has been made available to athletes preparing for major championships. I will be putting together a committee to undertake a review of the program with a view to coming up with a revised format which would be more structured and more inclusive. Sports tourism is the buzzword these days. It is for us to convert that into measurable economic returns. One of the ways in which we will be seeking to do this, Mr. Speaker, is to go after major international sporting and cultural activities to stage them right here in Jamaica. I will in short order be naming an international bidding committee under the chairmanship of none other than the Honorable Mike Fennell to aggressively target these events. The strategic business plan has been completed for the National Sport Museum and the review process is in an advanced stage. The establishment of the Caribbean Sport Medicine Center. The ministry is collaborating with the University of the West Indies and Team Usain Bolt to establish this center. The Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport wishes to advise that in the 55th year of our nation's independence, we are taking center stage in the National Trust for Job Creation, Wealth and Revenue Generation and Global Competitiveness.
Tomorrow, October 11, will mark 152 years since Paul Bogle led the fateful protest march to the Miranda Bay Courthouse in 1865. The subsequent clashes with colonial forces resulted in the deaths of hundreds, including Bogle himself, who was captured and hanged on October 24 that year. The actions of Bogle and other brave Jamaicans of the Miranda Bay Rebellion paved the way for the establishment of just practices in the courts and the social and economic betterment of the people. In recognition of his efforts, Paul Bogle was conferred with the Order of the National Hero in 1969. Keep watching for more of his story.
One thing I want people to understand about Paul Bogle. Paul Bogle was the richest black man inside of Jamaica in 1865. He owned 503 acres of land. When you look at what Paul Bogle owned, Paul Bogle didn't have to give his life for his country.
Yet he did, and for that he was declared a national hero in 1969, the highest honor that could be awarded by a grateful nation. The history of his life and death tells us that the journey to that pinnacle of national recognition was one fraught with danger and ultimately deadly. In the latter months of 1865, Paul Bogle and others of like mind had exhausted their tolerance for the unfair treatment being meted out to black people in colonial Jamaica. After almost 30 years of emancipation, their access to land, good wages, and civil and legal rights were being stifled, based solely on the color of their skin. Paul Bogle, a Baptist preacher from Stonygut in St. Thomas, had come to be seen as the governor of the blacks. So when he began his fateful 50-mile march to the then capital, Spanish Town, they followed and were denied the audience they sought with Governor at the time, Edward John Eyre. Paul Bogle was relentless, and the preacher and his men would later descend on the Miranda Bay Courthouse while it was in session, determined to have their say. History has labeled that incident the Miranda Bay Rebellion. What began as a peaceful gathering to agitate for the fair and equal treatment of all citizens, black or white, ended in chaos and bloodshed. In the end, more than 430 people were killed, hundreds more flogged, 1,000 dwellings destroyed, and the courthouse razed by fire. For this rebellious act, Bogle was deemed the instigator, and in October 1865 he was captured and hanged.
Bogle has to be looked at in the context of his own actions. We need to understand that in 1865, Bogle in many respects was representing what people of his group, people of his neighborhood, people of his historical background were faced with. This is just a few years, maybe less than 30 years after emancipation. And emancipation in 1838 had simply not brought the blessings that most ex-slaves had hoped for. One blessing that they had looked for was land. That didn't come. They might also have hoped for some sense of equality. That hadn't come either. Because while in theory all Jamaicans were citizens, they were certainly not equal in the eyes of the law.
We have recourse today to many things. We have recourse to the newspapers, to the courts, to the parliament, etc. You know, we have places we can turn to. I mean, we can call up the talk show host and raise the devil. We can write terrible letters to the newspapers. We can demand to see our member of parliament, etc. Bogle and those guys didn't have anything like that. You know, so you can't equate the two things at all. And don't forget what they tried to do. They even wrote a letter to the Queen, you know. They walk all the way to Spanish Town to see here. I mean, these guys tried everything. They were not to be confused with agitators on the street. They were not that.
Bogle's sacrifice was not in vain. The Morant Bay Rebellion would become the catalyst for many developments in Jamaica. Education, health, and social services, the things for which Bogle agitated, would eventually be greatly improved. Still, the sacrifice was not all Paul Bogle's. Others who bore his name would later face prejudice and persecution for his actions on and before that fateful day.
The Morant Bay Rebellion, as it was called, you know, caused the Bogle family to live a bush like wild animals. My father and my grandfather told me that it was illegal to educate any Bogle in Jamaica. Many people in St. Thomas who name Bogle, they can't even relate Paul Bogle's story good enough. Because guess what? It's not something that the family get into easily. Because until this day, sad to say, but it has divided the family. The family never ever come back to what they used to be because of Morant Bay Rebellion.
Still, the family is proud of its elder and feels some vindication in his eventual recognition as a national hero.
What really drives a deacon that is on the pulpit, a man that is not in need of anything to do something like that, that is the broader point.
Paul Bogle, the father of 7 children, a sibling to 5 brothers, owner of his own little kingdom, a black man who in 1865 had the right to vote, was a warrior for equal rights, a man who was resolute in the fight for his people.
It's the GIS Heritage Posters and Publications Sale. Come and get your posters and publications from now until October 30 at low, low prices. Packages include books, posters, brochures, Jamaican flags, and more. And if you spend over $1,500, you'll get a prize. For more information, contact the Jamaica Information Services Research and Publications Department by calling 926-359-024 or 926-374-026 or visit them at 58A Halfway Tree Road, Kingston 10. You may also contact our Montego Bay Regional Office by calling 952-6604 or visit them at the NHT Building, 42B2C Union Street, Montego Bay. Run come before them done. Posters and publications available while stocks last.
Out of many, one people. It is our national motto and a significant element of the Jamaican coat of arms. On this often used symbol of nationhood can also be found artistic renditions of a male and female member of the Taino tribe, standing on either side of a shield which bears a red cross with 5 golden pineapples. The crest shows the Jamaican crocodile, mounted on the royal helmet of the British monarchy and mantling. Let's find out what it all means.
Jamaica's national motto, out of many, one people, is based on the population's multiracial roots. The motto is represented on the coat of arms, which is also known as the Arms of Jamaica. It shows a male and female of the Taino tribe standing on either side of a shield, which has a red cross with 5 golden pineapples. The crest has a Jamaican crocodile mounted on the royal helmet of the British monarchy and mantling. Jamaica's coat of arms was granted to the country by the British in 1661 under royal warrant. It was designed by William Sancroft, then Archbishop of Canterbury. The original motto in Latin translates to, "The two Indians will serve as one," or "both Indies will serve together." It was later replaced with the English motto, "Out of many, one people." This is a tribute to the unity of the different cultural minorities that make up Jamaica.
To help us take a closer look at the Jamaican coat of arms is logistics and protocol consultant Merrick Needham. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you again. The Jamaican coat of arms is considered a legacy from the British. What's the legacy?
Well, the British, the English in particular, were the first, or among the very first, to design arms, or what's colloquially but not strictly speaking correctly called coat of arms. And they designed very good ones. And this is a particularly good one. It's reflective of a lot of aspects of Jamaica. And it has great antiquity. It's now, as a result of our keeping it, one of the oldest national arms in the world.
That's quite a legacy. We still have a male and female Arawak on either side of the shield. They've been long gone, so why is this so?
Well, they were the original human inhabitants. It's not their fault that they were decimated largely by the Spaniards and the few that were left to some extent by the English. But, you know, a lot of them escaped to the mountains, they joined the Maroons and so on, and lots of Jamaicans still have some little tiny strain of Taino or Arawak blood in them. Why has it got to change, you know, every time there's a population change? If we say that it should represent Afro-Jamaicans more, well, what about when the Indians started coming and when the Chinese started coming and they too, you know, there's a limit to how you can keep adjusting things. It's tradition.
Jamaica has a number of fruits and animals that are indigenous to us. Why the pineapple and why the crocodile?
Well, a crocodile is an indigenous creature for Jamaica. And at the time of the design of the arms, there was a lot more swampland and so on than there is now. There were a lot more crocodiles, and they thought they were alligators. In fact, there used to be an old joke that the only alligator in Jamaica is the one on the arms. And so, you know, that was legitimate. And usually arms have fairly aggressive crests, such as a lion or a tiger or a bear or something like that. So, you know, you would want to use an alligator rather than some rather domestic-looking little thing.
Pineapple. Why
pineapples. The pineapple, yeah, that's a bit harder for me to justify. It wasn't indigenous. It was brought to Jamaica from the Pacific area by Captain Cook. I think probably just because they look regal as a fruit. You know, it has a crown-like look to it. It is the most central factor, apart from the Cross of St. George, on the coat of arms, which is the bit right in the center of the arms.
Regal and suitable.
Regal and suitable, yes. Absolutely.
Today, the Jamaican coat of arms appears on all our banknotes and coins, as well as on national documents. In many respects, it is used as the final seal of government approval.
The magazine has run out of time, but there are many more tales to tell in the ongoing story of Jamaica's dynamic heritage. Tomorrow's show captures another chapter in that story. Till then, visit jis.gov.jm for more information on the land of black, green and gold and its heroes. While you're online, connect with us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And we still read your emails, so drop us a line at the address on screen. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Have yourselves a great evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.